Greetings, my name is Ted Hicks. I'm the founder, CEO, and Chief Investment Officer for Hicks Associates Wealth Management. Today's Thursday, the 20th of October, 2022. In today's video, we're going to talk about two things. First of all, what do we mean when we say be recession ready? And number two, why in the world am I wearing my high school letter jacket? So what do we mean when we say be recession ready? Let's talk about that first. First of all year long, we have been talking about the fact that we believe we're already in a recession. The National Bureau of Economic Research has not declared that just yet, but the data suggests that we're already in a recession. Furthermore, if you listen to the words that Chairman Jerome Powell from the Federal Reserve uses, he's talking about increased economic pain, and he's talking about the fact that it might take a while for us to beat inflation. Furthermore, if you read some of the research from some of the economists out there, which we do on a regular basis, there's an argument to say that the current unemployment rate of about 3.7, I think it is the last I looked, needs to go all the way to 7 to 7.5% in order for us to tame inflation. Well, obviously, if unemployment goes from 3.5 to 7 or 7.5, that means there's going to be an awful lot of people that are going to be laid off. And so when we use words like be recession ready, we are simply encouraging those of you who are still in the workforce to be prepared to get laid off. Well, obviously, everybody is not going to be laid off, but we want to make sure those of you that are paying attention to us, you are prepared financially for such an event. And by that we mean you make sure that you have a suitable amount of cash in your bank, savings, checking, money markets, etc., so that you can continue to pay your bills without having to violate long-term investment plans. So historically, financial planners would suggest that you keep 3 to 6 months worth of cash set aside. I would say you might want to lean towards at least 6 months and even more if possible. The challenge is we don't know how long an economic crisis is going to last. And so if you have the ability to increase your savings and your cash positions in your what we call non-qualified or regular bank accounts, then that would be wise. That ultimately, we don't want you to have to start violating your long-term investment goals in order to pay your mortgage. So that's what we mean. Increase your cash on hand. A couple other things that we would encourage you to do is to always keep your skills current so that you are marketable. There's something about your skill set that is standing out. If there's a bunch of people that are laid off, why would a new employer hire you versus somebody else? So always keep your skills current. And then the other thing that we would encourage you to do is to continue to network. If you work at company A and company A lays you off, you want to make sure you know people at company B so that you've got a network that you can rely on and say, hey, this just happened. Do you have any openings? So that's what we mean when we say be recession ready. Obviously, if you have any questions, by all means, feel free to reach out to me and my team. We'd be happy to sit down with you. You do not need to be a client in order to request such a time as that. So that said, why in the world am I wearing my letter jacket from high school? Last Friday, the 14th of October, my high school soccer coach, they had a celebration of his career. He's been coaching at Thomas Stone High School in Waldorf, Maryland for quite a number of years. He's I would argue, a legend, and has coached many, many people over the years. And so there was a bit of a celebration for him as this is going to be his last season. Unfortunately, I was not able to make it up there just because our daughter had something early Saturday morning. But as I thought about what I'm going to talk about in this week's video, it occurred to me that some of the things that we do here, I would argue, are a result from Coach Parker and some of the things that he taught us and espoused on a regular basis. So 2 things in particular. First of all, we have hopefully gotten across to our clients and those of you who are not clients the fact that we feel like we've done a pretty good job navigating the current environment with the assets that we manage. We are indeed quite proud of the results that we have earned, if you will, or gotten this year for our clients. And when you look at, relatively speaking, what else is available. But we're trying very hard not to be prideful. So I don't think there's anything wrong with being proud of what we're doing, so long as we don't cross the line to becoming prideful. And I would say that's Coach Parker to a T. Coach Parker had a great reputation. He had a great record over the course of his career. He's the type of coach that parents would move so that they would be in the Thomas Stone School District so that their kid could play for Coach Parker. So Coach Parker has every reason to be proud of the record that he has, but he's never been prideful. And so I'm very grateful for that lesson that he emulated all the time. I would also say he was also always a gentleman. He was not a coach that yelled and screamed. I think I heard him raise his voice like twice in 4 years of playing for him. So he was also always a gentleman, and that's certainly something that endeared him to my dad in particular, because every day when I left the house, when I was living with my dad would stop me and say, "Son, be a gentleman." And again, Coach Parker emulated that. He was always a gentleman. But the last thing I'll mention is something that we hold really dear here at Hicks Associates Wealth Management. It's a concept of a team. My last year playing for him, I had the fortune of playing 4 years varsity for Coach Parker. And there were 4 freshmen that made it onto the varsity team that year. 3 of us started, 1 of us did not. I was the one that didn't start my freshman year. I was the super sub, if you will. But by the time we all got to our senior year, because we had been on the varsity team all of those years, Coach Parker made all 4 of us captains. Again, 3 of the guys, Tony Galliano, Danny V, and David Hayes, they were fantastic players. And they all earned awards in some respect, if you will. But Coach Parker ended up giving me what he called the Team Me Award. And part of me thinks it was because I was such a staple on the team, but I didn't earn any rewards. I played the midfield, and I scored 1 goal in 4 years. Those are not exactly great stats. But that particular year, Coach Parker had T-shirts made for everybody. And on the front of the T-shirt was supposed to be the word team in big, bold letters. And below that was supposed to be a much smaller word, me. And the visual was supposed to communicate that the team is more important than the individual. And that is something that we try very hard to live out here in my firm. And that, again, is coming from the lessons that Coach Parker taught. Most of the time in this industry, when you see a financial services team, more often than not, it's just a bunch of individuals that are housed together. They're sharing expenses. That's not the case with my firm. Paul and Nathan are specialists on my team. I rely on them to do a lot of things. Number one, they lead a lot of the client relationships and take clients deep into the financial planning process. That's their specialty. And my specialty and Braxton's specialty is on the investment side. So Paul and Nathan lean on Braxton and me to handle the investment portfolios. And we obviously rely on the staff to support all of us. But it is a team environment. It's not any one individual, it's a team. And that's really important to us. And again, that comes directly from Coach Parker. So anyway, I thought I would just give a quick tribute to Coach Parker and what he espoused all of these years, and hopefully that comes across in the work that we do for you, our clients, that we do serve you well, and we are proud of the work that we do, but we're never prideful, and we serve as a good, solid team. Anyway, that's enough for today, and if you have any questions, by all means, feel free to reach out to me. I hope you get a little bit of comic relief in some of these photos that I'm sharing. These are photos from me from high school, 9th grade year, all the way to 12th grade year, just a couple, just to give a little comic relief. And I, for one, am grateful that I can actually fit my high school letter jacket. Anyway, thanks for watching. We'll talk to you soon.